furniture on there?
I have a table, I have a little
flag
settee, I have
of the
a
United
chair,
States of America,
around.
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Okay, Mr. DeCarlo?
Here.
Mr. Hoffman?
Here.
Mr. Condit?
Here.
Mr. Molina,
Here.
Mr. Silverston?
Here.
Mr. Walter?
Here.
Approval of meeting minutes for March 25th, 2014.
So moved.
Second. Roll call on approval of minutes.
Mr. Hoffman?
Abstain.
Mr. Condit?
Yes.
Mr. Molina,
Abstain.
Mr. Silverston? Mr. Walter?
Yes.
Mr. DeCarlo?
Yes. Amendments to the agenda.
Yes, sir, I have one. I would like to add resolution 32, 2014. A resolution to accept the additional Summit County Homeland Security Grant in the amount of $26,245.02 awarded from the Emergency Management Agency Division of Public Safety.
Second. Roll call on the amended agenda.
Mr. Condit?
Yes.
Mr. Molina,
Yes.
Mr. Silverston?
Yes.
Mr. Walter?
Yes.
Mr. DeCarlo?
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman?
Yes. Going to reports, the mayor will not be here this evening. We'll go to Mr. Carpenter.
I have nothing to report on tonight.
Terry?
I do apologize, the Crowdcaster report was a late edition, so it's in the box now, but you may not have seen it prior to the meeting. Discussion items, the big thing that we wanted to cover was the wastewater treatment facility down in the shores. DOES has proposed replacing the facility with a lift station. The current facility is considered a packing plant, and it was only meant to be a temporary solution. It has limited capacity, the technology that's in there is outdated. The cost of compliance with EPA regulations would be significant at this point. The new lift station will redirect the waste to the Twinsburg plant, and this would be cheaper to install the lift station than to actually update and bring everything in compliance with EPA standards. That was all I had. I don't know if you guys.
Yeah, and a few other points on that. One thing it's going to alleviate is the smells that come out of it during the summer up by the trade winds. It's going to reduce the amount of water going into Pond Brook, which will help during our rainy times and our thaw times. Plus, it's getting rid of an eyesore. Those big tanks will be gone.
I was gonna say, are they giving any land back to the shores, or are they using up the whole?
There's still going to be a building.
Yeah, the lift station will.
Right, but is it smaller, is it bigger, does anybody?
Don't
I
know.
would think it's smaller.
It's smaller, they're highly unlikely to give the land back to Aurora Shores. The likelihood is it's more likely that if there's excess land to be donated, to be given anywhere, they would give it to Metro Parks. However, this was the key of the original lawsuit by Aurora Shores against DOES that Aurora Shores lost. And now that someone else is managing that plan, or in charge of it, it's suddenly a good idea. So this is what we wanted the first time around.
30 years.
30 years.
It was a long time ago. I was
Yeah.
around during that.
Yeah.
Will this alleviate a lot of the trucks that are pulling in there all the time, the heavy trucks?
I believe that it will. Not all of them completely, but
But less?
less, because it won't be hauling away as much sludge.
And it could in the future also allow homes that are still unserved in the village to be able to tie in the sewer.
The next item I had was the Regatta Trail project. That was still in the design phase. That is now completed. Resolution 64, 2013 authorized Crockesser to design and prepare the construction documents. That's complete, so now that resolution also stated that they could proceed with the bidding process, so we're preparing for that. Once that is complete, we're going to need legislation to accept the bid and to hire Crockesser to do the inspections. I'll talk all about that when we're ready. Nautilus Trail, with the rain over the last week, there's been some delays, but they have started working on the storm sewer installation, and I'm actually meeting with Trimore on Thursday for a progress update, so I'll see if the rain has delayed the project at all. And finally, for building and zoning, we have a zoning board meeting on April 14th. There's a variance request at 10329 Red Bud. It's a 4-foot variance of the 15-foot setback. Any other questions?
Yeah, the cut-throughs were taken care of,
Yes.
but I did have to call Dave again,
Okay.
because whoever you're contacting, Terry, seems to not care. And I'll still go through you as a first attempt, and I'll continue to go to Dave Crock to get it done. It's ridiculous. We had flooding in the streets yesterday because the catch basins, the silk screening that they put in, it was totally blocked. They did take care of that also.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Deborah?
Yeah, I have a couple items. First of all, I wanted to congratulate Chief Plunkett on retirement from his other position. I don't know how many people are aware of that, but we get to see him much more frequently. Congratulations. Chief Plunkett.
For being in this place. Retirement, it's not that dangerous.
Yeah, they'll see it at Roxy.
Second item is traditionally the Reminderville makes a donation to the North Coast Show Choir for their invitational. Unfortunately, we received the information late and missed that deadline, so I contacted with Great Expectations and asked them if there was another way, another project that we could donate to. And they said there was. So I think normally the donation is $100 for a trophy sponsor. So if council is willing to donate to a different project, they're traveling to New York City for a show, and they were asking for donations for that. So if you're okay with that, we can, do they need a motion or
You
a
can do it either
resolution?
way. We've done both.
Okay.
We do most of them with the resolution. If it needs to be done right away, I would suggest go ahead and do a motion
Okay,
tonight.
okay.
How soon do they need it?
Sometime in April, by the end of April, so within the next couple weeks.
You know,
We should do it as a motion.
you can do it as a motion, or if it's not gonna be, the next meeting's the 22nd or something.
Is there a date when they need it by?
April 30th. So we could do it at the next meeting if Paul, you
Yeah, if you
would
just
write
give me a
for it,
little
sorry.
email as to what it is and everything,
Okay.
I'll put it on there.
Okay. Also, the fire department was able to generate a little extra revenue, in auctioning off some items and donating, or recycling some scrap metal. And the total of $1,035, Chief Plunkett has requested that it actually comes back to the fire department. Normally I would just deposit in the general fund, but he has some additional costs associated with the purchase of the new vehicle. He would like to be able to do that, and I'll have to do legislation for that. There's not a big hurry, we could do that at the next meeting as well.
Are you gonna incorporate that into the,
It's-
Fire
he-
department,
Yes, he gave me a
vehicle
specific
item?
line item, yeah, to put it into, yeah.
and And then the police department makes up the difference, whatever you guys.
Absolutely.
Whatever the fire chief wants.
They wouldn't even notice it.
That's all I have unless anyone has any questions.
Thank you, David. Chief Bob.
The only thing I have is, I want to inform council about Resolution 32, 2014, I believe it is. The mayor was able to acquire another $26,245 toward the radio purchase, which almost is a full funding for that, with grant money from EMA. That's all I have.
Thank you. Chief Plunkett.
Just touched on it earlier, just want to know about the vehicle, the new vehicle, still waiting on the contractors to wire it for the emergency radios and lights and put the graphics on it, so it should be another 2 weeks or so it'll be in service. And one thing I wanted to mention to the public in general is, we had a woman that called us 3 or 4 days ago. She lived in Willowbrook, and she lives in a home that has all hardwired smoke detectors in her home, in the house. So she called us and asked us to come up and replace all of her smoke detectors, you know, to cut the wire. She had gone to Home Depot or someplace and bought new smoke detectors, and she wanted to wire us to wire them into her house, because her understanding was that we do that. So, you know, and so we went down there, and the engine officer, the captain that was on duty, told her we can't do that. You know, we can't rewire your house. You know, we don't want to accept that liability. We're not an electrician. We'll put a battery in your smoke detector for you, but we can't rewire your. She became very irate, you know, and said some things that weren't all that nice. So just wanted to just remind the public, we'll go and we'll help you, but it's more like a passive system than you can't rewire the smoke detectors in your house.
We went down right after that there and took care of it for him, no problem.
They bought her a whole new alarm system.
Ed Radius.
Yeah, they paid the contractor to come and do it, but nothing.
Is there a reason why she was wanting them replaced? They have to be fairly new.
You know, I really don't know. I wasn't on the scene. They, you know, my officer informed me of that. And
I talked to Kiddo one time about that. And a smoke detector by regulation only lasts 7 years. And after 7 years, you're required to replace whether it's hardwired or battery operated.
where you just struck me as, you know, I gotta make an announcement on that, because generally the fire department is not on that end of the screaming fuss, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Usually don't get the derogatory stuff, that's the cops, you know? It was a little bit of a shock to our system, and it's, whoa.
Actually, somebody's not happy with us?
Well, it's good to know in case one of us get something involved.
Don't send your kids over there selling candy bars in school.
What's the address?
Quarantine the house.
Thank you, Chief. Architectural Board of Review.
Well, our next meeting is gonna be April 28th, Monday, and we're expecting representatives from that senior housing project to be there.
Planning and zoning. No report. Board of Zoning Appeals.
We have a meeting on Monday.
Thank you.
What time is that meeting? Mary?
6 o'clock.
That's on the variance for Redmond, is that it?
Pardon? Yes.
Thank you.
Finance.
Finance met today at 6:30. We recommended invoices in the amount of $162,637.31, of which 72,000 of it roughly were the radios, which we just heard. Most of that's going to be covered with grant money. And our next meeting will be in 2 weeks. That's it.
Thank you. Cable.
We had no meeting this month.
Communications.
Communications met last night. We think we found a contractor to help us out with our website, so we're gonna do some redesign, make it a little less pretty, a little more functional. We're also, Sam has helped us in potentially acquiring a new smartphone app. That's gonna do all sorts of cool stuff, and kind of go into that at a later meeting. The new resident kits have been going out, thanks to Stacy and Terry's help. think I've gotten roughly about 15 and probably delivered about 10 of them, so the people's response on that has been, I think some were taken back, kind of surprised, so it's been going over really well in the
Are
feedback.
you gonna add smoke detectors in there?
Might put one in every bag, I like that, battery operated ones, of course, I don't want them hardwired. So no, good things are happening in the communications committee. Our next meeting is Monday, May 5th at 7.
Just so you know, May 5th, they're gonna be setting up the room for the election. So you guys can meet there, or how
Thank you for the heads up.
Thank you, Mark. Long-term community development, number 4, recreation.
Recreation will meet next Tuesday to accommodate some vacation scheduling. Our next event will be the Easter egg hunt on Saturday, April 19th, from 1 o'clock to 3. And Stacy started to take applications for the community garden, so reserve your plot.
How many people have signed up?
Probably 10 to 12.
Wow.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more than that. Yeah, it's been pretty good response. So.
It's most of the people who were there last year, so a couple new ones.
Requesting same locations?
I didn't really know how to handle that, only because I'm not gonna save 40 plots for people who may or may not want it, and it,
It's
you
just
wouldn't
first
think
come,
it'd be
first
a
served
problem,
every
but
year.
it kind of is a problem.
But is it first come, first served? I mean,
Pretty much, yeah.
Some of them brought in their own topsoil
Yeah.
and fertilizer and really
Yeah.
invested in
Yeah,
their
so they can
plot.
do whatever they want to their plot as long as it's organic.
Could you sell the ones that didn't sell last year first to the new people, and that way? No, I'm just, just give the incumbents a little more time to.
Or have we sent a letter out to those people, telling them it's time?
Yeah, it's been on the website for about a week. I emailed all the old gardeners. The
Okay,
newsletters are
so
going
you
out
did-
tomorrow. People have been coming in and calling about it, so.
Okay.
Closer to the street generally gets the most sun and the best drainage.
All right, real quick, kind of along the lines of the community garden, I meant to ask, kind of get a feel for, one of the things that came up in the communications committee meeting was the potential for some sort of walkway or path around the community gardens. It's kind of a memorial, maybe plant memorial trees or have memorial benches or something like that.
Well, we can't do trees only because the gardeners, yeah. they don't
Well,
want
and I'm not saying it would be necessarily right around,
Right.
somewhere in that general vicinity, so I just wanted to kind of throw it out there to see what you all thought about the idea of a potential memorial walkway.
I do know the long-term community development, part of their path system is to go through that area,
Right.
one of the phases, so that can maybe be kind of thrown in with.
Well, and it came up in the discussions of a memorial, because like, for instance, in Willowbrook, it'd be great to have little placards by a tree right off the, right off a path, it'd probably be easier to do something like that.
Usually, the placards by a tree indicate somebody that the tree was planted in memory.
That's what I'm getting at, yeah.
I think it's a nice idea.
Yeah.
So, something like that in that area, again, just wanted to see what you all thought about the concept.
Absolutely.
What's wrong with Memorial Garden, or Memorial Pathway, right, okay.
Records? Seniors.
Seniors had lunch today at Russo's in Northfield, and they had 7 people. And the next breakfast is at First Watch in Solon on April 30th, and their next Aurora Community Theater function will be May 2nd to see Fiddler on the Roof.
Well, that's a good one.
That's it.
Thank you. And Jed.
Jed had a special meeting last Tuesday at Twinsburg Township Hall. We approved a $10,000 donation to the Dean Mullen retirement party / scholarship. For those of you that don't know, Dean Mullen is the dean of the Twinsburg campus of Kent State. And he's retiring and throwing him a shindig. That's May 15th. I'm not sure how they're inviting people and how that's gonna work. That's it.
Thank you.
Mario, can I add one thing?
Sure.
I apologize. When Mark was talking about communications, wanted to just let you know, We originally had a quote from Windstream for new phone systems, and council wanted another quote, so we do have working on another quote, which is from AT&T. Our understanding, is that they can kind of subcontract through Windstream to provide the service. So we're waiting to get the final numbers. Looks to be similar so far price-wise, so it may be just a comparison of the service in the end.
Is there a charge though for them to be a sub for Windstream? Let's make sure we're not gonna still be paying a
Right.
Windstream bill in there somewhere.
Well, there are quite a few extra charges and extra things that will have to be done, if you decided to go with AT&T, but we'll get a full
Okay,
price.
thank you.
And it also kind of, they bundled in the app and
Right.
things like that, so.
Okay, table legis,
Marion.
yes.
Resolution 2029, 2014. Okay.
Okay, table legislation remains tabled. Resolution 29, 2014, a resolution to hire Alexander McKinley as a part-time police officer with the Village of Reminderville, third reading. This resolution needs to die this evening when we get into the council meeting. We're not hiring, right?
Correct.
Resolution 31, 2014, a resolution authorizing the approval and adoption of the Summit County Hazard Mitigation Plan, first reading. Resolution 32, 2014, a resolution to accept the additional Summit County Homeland Security Grant in the amount of $26,245.02 awarded from the Emergency Management Agency, Division of Public Safety, first reading.
That needs to go by emergency.
That needs to go by emergency. I wonder, you want me to read this, or you just want me to tell you to go by emergency?
It needs to go by emergency
Yeah.
because the money's not gonna be there by the end of the month. This is leftover money that people haven't accepted and used for this grant, and there's some left over that Mayor Alonso scooped up for the village.
Grant closed on the 25th, I think, right, Paul?
Early to mid, April.
Yeah. I thought we were anyway. All right, thank you. Old business. New business?
Oh, never mind.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Roll call on adjournment?
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Silverston?
Yes.
Mr. Walter?
Yes.
Mr. DeCarlo?
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman?
Yes.
Mr. Condit?
Yes.
I would suggest we go directly on.
Yeah. Move right on. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mr. DeCarlo?
Here.
Mr. Hoffman?
Here.
Mr. Condit?
Here.
Mr. Molina,
Here.
Mr. Silverston?
Here.
And Mr. Walter?
Here.
Approval of meeting minutes for March 25th, 2014.
So moved.
Second.
And twenty.
Roll call on approval of minutes for March 25th.
Mr. Hoffman?
Abstain.
Mr. Condit?
Yes.
Mr. Molina,
Abstain.
Mr. Silverston?
Yes.
Mr. Walter?
Yes.
Mr. DeCarlo?
Yes.
And approval of meeting minutes for March 27th, 2014.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Condit?
Yes.
Mr. Molina,
Yes.
Mr. Silverston?
Yes.
Mr. Walter?
Yes.
Mr. DeCarlo?
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman?
Abstain.
Okay, amendments to the agenda.
I have several, Mr. Molina. The first is to add Resolution 32, 2014, a resolution to accept the additional Summit County Homeland Security Grant in the amount of $26,245.02 awarded from the Emergency Management Division of Public Utilities, and I'm requesting emergency passage.
Second.
Roll call on resolution 32, 2014 being added.
Mr. Molina,
Yes.
Mr. Silverston,
Yes.
Mr. Walter,
Yes,
Mr. DeCarlo,
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman,
Yes.
Mr. Condit.
Yes.
and I would request a short executive session to discuss contract issue as well as personnel issue related to compensation.
Second.
Roll call on adding the executive session.
Mr. Silverston,
Yes.
Mr. Walter,
Yes,
Mr. DeCarlo,
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman,
Yes.
Mr. Condit,
Yes.
Mr. Molina.
Yes.
What are we gonna do here?
I would like to do that after legislation.
And acceptance of financial reports.
Move to accept financial reports.
Second.
Roll call on acceptance of financials.
Mr. Walter,
Yes,
Mr. DeCarlo,
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman,
Yes.
Mr. Condit,
Yes.
Mr. Molina,
Yes.
Mr. Silverston.
Yes.
Okay, comments from the public, 30 minutes, maximum time, 5 minutes per person. Please state your name and address.
Yeah, Andrew Gordon, 10304 Clipper Cove. I know I've been here several times in the past and talked about the cutting of the trees behind Clipper Cove, and now they've done Nautilus Trail. And I know we had a lot of people come here and complain about it, and we're told, it's a private matter, he's a private developer, it's private land, council can't get involved. And, we said, hey, it's devaluing our property, it's an eyesore. I never would have bought this property if I'd known that was gonna happen, and nothing could be done. Didn't really think much of it, but I know Mark had brought to my attention that we were putting in a garage on our private property in back of the dam. And he was confronted by some homeowners who came here to an architectural review board and said, it's an eyesore, it's gonna ruin my property value, he's gotta put trees back in. And the review board said, absolutely, you guys have to take your private property, put trees on it, not only that, you have to paint that garage the color we tell you to paint it. And that to me seems wrong, it seems like a double standard, and I know I have neighbors whose colors of their houses, and they have things that I don't like looking at. I can't tell them what to do with their property. I certainly have been told I can't tell the developer to replace those trees. So I'd like to know what the explanation is.
You make it sound like we came down on you real hard. I thought that was a pretty friendly discussion we had at the ABR.
Well, I'm already being asked if the color can be changed by that color.
If you recall, I didn't have a strong opinion about the color, one of the ABR members did. And the people who were confronting you didn't have a strong opinion.
No, they did, but it was
Mark-
dictated to me that the color would have to be green.
They just wanted a more earthy tone, blend in.
But they didn't want it. They didn't want that color. And now they're asking if it can be changed, and it can't be because the building's already in production.
And as far as the trees were concerned, I thought we all agreed that was a good idea.
I would agree with that, but
I would agree with it
it
too.
was also,
You can't, if you-
it was also contingent that we couldn't there would be no, the building would not move forward unless we did that. It was made clear. And I think somebody even said, if they don't move forward, we'll have the attorney take care of the matter. That, it went to that extent.
And honestly,
Mark, am I right or wrong? Wasn't that
I think
statement
it was
made?
worded that you were gonna go forward, and somebody stated, what's to force you to go ahead and follow the ruling to put trees in. And I think it was mentioned then that it would be a legal matter. Because we didn't say you couldn't start building the garage.
I would, yeah, it was yes, that statement was made, that we couldn't move forward with the building. If we didn't move forward with the building, there would be legal action taken, if the trees weren't put in.
and my problem isn't per se, because we had always planned to put trees back there after we were done with the project, but to me,
We're getting a double standard.
it's a double standard. And, I mean, we didn't cut down any trees that weren't on our property, like the developer did. And yet we came here with hundreds of people and we're told there's nothing we can do about it. So I just don't feel like it's fair to come and tell us what we can do on our own property.
I think though that you're overstating that Sam Alonso went and negotiated with the developer over here and did achieve some modicum of some relief.
I would disagree.
Well, you're certainly welcome to disagree, but that's my recollection of the circumstance.
And I'm required to put a tree every 10 feet. And I know that that developer didn't put a
We
tree every
agreed
10
that they
feet.
would come with it, I'm sorry, we agreed that you would come back with a site plan. I mean, there was no wording that would keep you from putting in a bush this big, I don't think.
No,
Well, he used
they
the
had to be
word-
5 6-foot evergreens. That was what
That was
was,
recommended, I don't know, but like I said, it's not like we came down, I thought we discussed this.
Was it a mutual agreement, or was it we told you you
No,
have to plant
well,
trees?
at the end of the discussion,
Because it sounds like we're on the same page as.
at the end of the discussion, it was, if you don't go through with that, and the building goes up, we'll take legal action against you. That was the statement made at the end of the meeting.
It was more of a statement of, if you didn't follow through, our only alternative would be, it didn't say we would, it said that would be the only,
I
our
made
only
the statement I would
alternative.
do everything I could to make sure that that was done.
Mr.
And
Silver,
then the statement was made that legal action would be taken if it wasn't.
Mr. Silverston's question is very appropriate. Was this a mutual agreement?
I don't
If
think
it
as
were-
the AVR, we can make anyone plant trees.
But
That's my
if
understanding. We
it
can
was a
suggest,
mutual
hey,
agreement.
we can, again,
The color was dictated.
no,
You will make
we
it
always
green.
ask that it be, and I don't know if it's in the codified ordinance or not, but we always ask that it's similar to look and feel of the,
I can't think of another building around here that's green, dark green.
and that's where I think we would be flexible and say, like Mark said, again, I wasn't at the meeting, but being on AVR, I've been through many.
And believe you, we're very sensitive to the fact that we had to cut down some trees
I
to,
would imagine.
to put in that facility, but
Well,
I mean,
and I saw the post on Facebook because of the cutting down of the trees, I mean, it's a smaller version of what we go through, and I understand.
exactly, but it was a different outcome. in my opinion.
Absolutely, and when you talk about the color green, that's great for spring and summer, but then the green stands out in the fall and winter. You know, so picking a specific color,
I think at this point, since the color green, specifically stated you have to do a green, we had to call and get the manufacturer to see if they could change the color at that point. And now the homeowner's saying, we really don't want dark green. I'm wondering if the village would be willing to pay to have the building painted.
Well, did the homeowner come to the meeting and say they didn't want dark green? Or
No,
did they say
I
it
think
after the
that,
fact?
I think, and Mark, I'm sorry, I don't remember who was on the board, but they pretty much said, this, you should go with this green, it should be this color green. I said, that's not gonna match that woods. The canopy in the woods is green, but when you get down to tree level where the building's gonna be, it's gray, it's tan, grayish color. It's
Did the
not dark green.
homeowner object to the color dark green at the AVR meeting?
I don't think they really said either way.
They weren't
And if they,
focused on the color of the building.
Yeah, I would
did
agree
they
with
come
that.
with, here's what the color, they come with, it's gonna be dark green, or we want it to be, more of a brown earth tone?
No, it
'Cause,
was
again,
dictated by
being
the
a part
board
of
that
this-
it will be green.
And I wasn't there, but we're fairly flexible. I mean, we want it, our job is to make it look aesthetically pleasing to people around. So whether that's the same, it's matching colors or something similar,
And I would
that's
agree.
the goal.
I think that was the intent, but that's not what's gonna happen. This building's gonna stick out very badly at this point. One of the people on the board actually said, you might as well make it green if you're gonna make it dark, or, I'm sorry, you might as well make it black if you're gonna make it dark green. And don't take all this wrong, you guys, it's just, I wanna get along with you, and I think you guys wanna get along with us, but I just don't like the way everything went down at that meeting. I don't think, for my homeowners, I have the best interest always, their best interest always, that's my first and foremost.
And we had even told them before they came to the review board meeting, we'll take care of it, we're gonna get trees in there, but I guess that message just didn't resonate with them. But I mean, when I heard the story, it was like, it's like deja vu to me,
But do you see
There
our
are less people here.
we're getting,
I understand, all I would say is, again, wasn't at the meeting, but I can't imagine we have the ability to tell you to plant trees. So you're talking, and I just,
Mark,
whether
you
they
were there.
recommending and forcing it, and forcing your hand to do
If
it.
it was
And I-
recommended, I have no problem with that.
But it wasn't recommended, it was, if this stuff isn't followed up with,
And
we'll take legal action.
Guys,
The village will
just a
take legal
suggestion, the next time you wanna bring something to a council meeting, if you call ahead of time, we could have the minutes available, and that way this wouldn't happen, you guys could just
Right.
read it.
and I
So
was,
just let me know, and we
No,
would
Mark,
have it.
Mark was
Why did they
there,
bring this
Mark's not disputing any of it.
Right,
Mark
I
was
understand, I'm
disputing.
just saying, the next time you guys bring it up, if it would
Okay.
help, you guys could just call, and we'll have it ready for you.
And I'm gonna read the minutes with
Okay.
Sam and
It
what
was
color is the shed gonna be
A
right now? Dark green?
dark green.
So the manufacturer is gonna paint it dark green? Okay.
Have they painted it yet?
It went into production the day after they were actually getting ready to put it into production, and we called, got it switched, and they said, we don't know, you know, it's so close, we don't know. And that was what, 2 weeks ago or a week ago? I think it was 2 weeks ago, the meeting.
And what color was it gonna be? Just like-
Tan,
Tan.
a tan color. I really don't wanna use my homeowner's money to paint it when they come back.
It's a metal garage, so they're powder coating it, probably? Yeah.
That I don't know. Probably, I think you're right, yeah. That would be-
Okay,
Um,
we'll get back to you, Sam and I.
Okay. One other quick question.
Sure.
The trees are down behind me.
His name.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Mark Belkamp, 3827 Nautilus Drive.
thanks, Mike.
I'm sorry. The trees are down, they've ground the stumps out, but no silt fence has still been put up.
I will take care of that tomorrow
Okay,
morning.
all right, thanks.
All along, or just
Well,
behind you, you don't see any sign?
Behind me, I see no silt fence, heading north or west.
There is by the one by me, I walked there on Saturday.
Yeah, this is phase
Yeah,
7 now.
yeah, you're down on the other end.
We're actually on the
And
low
when
end.
they started clearing
Right,
trees
and
on
long.
that Saturday, they were out there at, I think, 7:30. I went ahead and called the police right away, and within 20 minutes, they were down, and they didn't start up again until, it was almost 11. So
Yeah,
the officer must have given them the wrong time, or they just waited till 11 to turn them back on.
I'm guilty of it too. We started cutting at 8 o'clock and the woman came out and I said, I think it's 10 o'clock. We called the police station, he said, no, it's 10 o'clock. We had started at 8 and I'm like, sorry. So, I understand that happens. Have we had any progress as far as him tying all those downspouts in?
I don't know where we're at. Would you know, Paul? No.
I have no idea.
Let me
That's
find
something you
out.
can call Terry on, or the engineer is usually here for the first meeting only, the
Okay.
meeting of the whole, so.
Because I know they were still waiting on permission from 2 of the homeowners to go through their yards. They wanted something in return and not just some grass seed planted. So that was something they had to work out with those 2 homeowners
Okay.
to get those retention ponds in.
Okay.
But if you call Terry, and I will find out
Okay.
also.
Okay. Thanks, Murray.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Anyone else? Okay, table legislation, again remains tabled. Okay, resolution 29, 2014, a resolution to hire Alexander McKinley as a part-time police officer with the village of Reminderville, 3rd reading.
Discussion. Since we want this dropped, what I will do is I will make a motion to pass, and if nobody seconds it, because. So I would like to make a motion to pass.
Do I have a second? Motion fails. Resolution 31, 2014, a resolution authorizing the approval and adoption of the Summit County Hazard Mitigation Plan, 1st reading. Resolution 32, 2014, a resolution to accept the additional Summit County Homeland Security Grant in the amount of $26,245.02 awarded from the Emergency Management Agency, Division of Public Safety, declaring an emergency.
Move to pass. Move to pass by emergency.
You get suspended.
Move to suspend the rules, pass by emergency, I'm sorry, thank you.
Did I have a second? Roll call on suspension of rules?
Mr. DeCarlo?
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman?
Yes.
Mr. Condit?
Yes.
Mr. Molina,
Yes.
Mr. Silverston?
Yes.
Mr. Walter?
Yes, move to pass by emergency.
Roll call on emergency passage?
Mr. Hoffman?
Yes.
Mr. Condit?
Yes.
Mr. Molina,
Yes.
Mr. Silverston?
Yes.
Mr. Walter?
Yes,
Mr. DeCarlo?
Yes.
move to adjourn to executive session.
Second?
Roll call on adjournment to executive session?
Mr. Condit?
Yes.
Mr. Molina,
Yes.
Mr. Silverston?
Yes.
Mr. Walter?
Yes.
Mr. DeCarlo?
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman?
Yes.